And we have an exciting session in our agenda today. Thank you everyone for joining. My name is Mushur Chaudhry. I am the manager of sales and recruitment for the Chang School. And before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the land upon which the Toronto Metropolitan University is built. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. I want to pay my respects to the Indigenous peoples, elders, and ancestors who stewarded and cared for nature and people who lived on the land where TMU is located today. At the university, we have made a deep and long-lasting commitment to truth and reconciliation. I invite you to learn more about this work online. Now I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's session. Your microphone is muted throughout the event so as not to disturb other attendees or the presenter. For the hearing impaired, we have automated captioning available, which you can access by activating it in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. You will have the opportunity to submit text questions by typing your questions into the question box of the control panel. Now you may send in your questions anytime during the session. We'll be answering them at the end of the presentation portion. Now I'd like to introduce our presenter for today, Michelle Dion, Professor of Psychology at Toronto Metropolitan University and also Academic Coordinator of the Psychology Certificate and also the Certificate of Mental Health and Addictions at the Chang School. Michelle will go over a brief overview and show how you can learn a little bit more about the certificate. Welcome, Michelle.
Thanks very much, and thanks all of you for attending today. I will spend the next few minutes just hitting some highlights of our program with the help of some slides, and then there will be some time for your more specific questions. So, in a nutshell, this certificate is delivered online. We'll speak a little bit more about that later on, but online basically means it can be asynchronous, what we call distance learning. Modules are set out ahead of time and you proceed through those modules at your own pace. We also have courses that are delivered virtually, meaning through a Zoom interface. So you're still listening to a live lecture with a professor and your classmates, but it's done from the comfort of your own home, not in a classroom. The certificate is 10 courses long, and it takes up to 7 years. That's the amount of time that's allowed to complete that certificate. You could technically complete it in a year, but most people end up not taking this as full-time, but as part-time. So if you think about 10 courses, if you're taking one course a term, it might take 3 years. Sometimes people can take 4 courses a term. As it turns out, most people can complete this if they really want to in about 2 years, doing it in the evenings and spring and summer. So next slide. And who this is aimed at, there are a number of career outcomes. There are a number of motivations that people have typically to take this program and this certificate. The general connecting thread amongst them, of course, is someone who has an interest in mental health and addictions in general, psychology in general. Some people take this certificate from a BA. Some people take this certificate before they have completed their bachelor's degree, and this might whet their appetite or interest in psychology. Sometimes people complete a BA and they feel like I just haven't specialized enough in the specific psychology courses that I am interested in or that I would need to move on to another program. Sometimes people have been out working for many years after a university degree, perhaps in an allied discipline, sometimes not in a discipline related to psychology at all. And it's just something that they're maybe looking for a pivot or a career change into mental health and addictions. And this is a stepping stone. Sometimes people want to take this collection of courses because they are in an allied discipline close to mental health and addictions. That could include even something like human resources. Um, Sometimes people want to increase their chances to be accepted into a clinical psychology graduate program or other counseling or clinical psychology programs, of which there are a wide variety. The nice thing, not quite unique, but special thing about our program is all the courses that are included in this program are degree credit courses and can be used toward a bachelor's degree, which again can strengthen your graduate school application. Next slide, please. So what do you learn in this certificate? We try to make this a broad-based psychological overview, but with some, of course, specialization in specific clinical psychology and specifically mental addictions focused courses. So you will cover the core principles of psychology, and that's how our courses are set up. And then from those prerequisite courses, those broad-based courses, then there are opportunities to specialize psychological there are courses in psychological disorders. That's a required course in addiction. But some people may find themselves more oriented towards adult psychology. Some may find themselves more oriented toward child psychology. Perhaps there is a forensic interest, so people could take psych and law. And as with many psychology degrees, our interest is providing an ability to think critically, to not just regurgitate information, but to, at the end, to be able to consolidate information and perhaps even consolidate information and create information for colleagues and peers. There is also an emphasis in psychology on research methods, statistical analysis, so that we know that there is an evidence base for the procedures that we use. There is also a strong emphasis on professional writing and communication, not just an American Psychological Association or the APA format for writing in psychology, but to communicate both in writing and orally to a professional audience as well. Next slide. So the highlights of this program, we do provide an academic or theoretical or research, all of those things based program. So a basic understanding of a broad base in psychology. This is contrasted with applied study. So I will say that you will not leave this certificate with a license or a certification or a credential that allows you to practice as a psychologist anywhere in Canada or anywhere in North America. But what it will do is provide a strong overview of the discipline of psychology, and in particular, mental health issues and addiction, that will allow you to use this as a stepping stone into other career paths which may be applied in nature, which may involve addictions counseling. It may also involve research. It may involve a combination of the two if you move on to clinical and counseling psychology as a graduate program. So this certificate provides a fantastic underpinning or a foundation for additional study. Next. So getting into the details here, what are the certificate requirements? As I said, there are 10 courses that are required, and some of that involves some choice on your part, and some of that involves required courses. There are 4 required courses that you must take, and there is a full year of introduction to psychology. We call it Intro 1 and Intro 2. Those are 2 separate courses. Those courses provide what we call prerequisites for almost all of our other courses. In addition to intro psychology, we have another course specifically on psychological disorders, which may have been in another time or another university. Sometimes these are identified as what we call abnormal psychology. A course in abnormal psychology, we call it psychological disorders, and we also require, because of the nature of the certificate, one specific course in addiction, the psychology of addiction. Then there are 6 courses that you have a choice to take, some modified choice, directed choice. There are 2 groups of electives. In Group A, we might consider those the more science based of the psychology courses. So psychopharmacology is often an interesting course and an important course, particularly for chemically based addictions. There is biological psychology, so structure and function of hormones, neurotransmitters, and the brain in our behavior. There's a specific course in clinical psychology that people are interested in. So once you learn about psychological disorders, then clinical psychology provides some background about what the major treatments for various psychological disorders are. And there's a specific course on drugs in human behavior. The Group B choices allow you a little bit more breadth to take some psychology courses that may be important for people learning about addictions or people with addictions. So there are courses on health psychology in particular, community psychology, behavioral modification, course on sleep. There's a stress course. And as I said before, you may have a particular interest in, for example, child psychology or psychology and law. That's when you can start to concentrate on those specific areas that are of specific interest to you. Next slide, please. And that brings us to the end, and we are happy to answer some of your questions now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Michelle. Really helpful overview, and I hope it was really helpful for all of our attendees here. We will go into our Q&A session, but just before we do that, we are going to invite, we have on the call here one of our academic and career advisors, and her name is Abby, and we'll just invite her to speak just a little bit about what her and her team can provide for all of our attendees and any other prospective students. Welcome, Abby.
Thank you, Mashir. Hi, everyone. My name is Abby. Like you mentioned, I am one of the academic and career advisors here at the Chang School. I do work alongside my colleague, Dave Dalrymple, who some of you may have already met. We both sort of share the role. and we are both here to help guide you throughout your journey here at the Chang School. So whether you are currently enrolled or you are a prospective student looking to learn a bit more about the programs that we offer and the sort of career pathways that you could take upon completion, you can go ahead and book a meeting with us. We do accept video call meetings as well as phone calls, and we can also arrange something to meet in person if that's what you prefer as well. I'll drop the link to our meeting booking, and if any of you are interested in chatting further, we'd be happy to connect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abby. And thanks for sharing that information over here in the chat so that everybody can use it as well. We'll also do a quick poll for everybody. We have a poll where we wanted to just see what everyone thinks regarding this question. You know, what skills are right now important in the mental health world? And we've got a couple of skills, you know, applying psychological principles to everyday experiences, understanding and utilizing research to support clients, and then providing support for specific mental health disorders. So we just have the poll up. It's not mandatory, but we'd just like to see what everybody thinks. We'll have it open for the next 30 seconds, and then we will go into our Q&A session. We've got a few questions that have come in already, so yeah, we are very eager to dive right into them and then get them answered for all of our attendees today. So we'll just hold up the poll for about 10 more seconds. Looks like providing support for a specific mental health disorder is leading with the 70%. And then we've got right behind that, understanding and utilizing research to support clients, and then followed by applying psychological principles to everyday experiences. So I'm just going to share the results here for everybody to see, and also want to know that, you know, all of these concepts are going to be covered in the certificate that we are showcasing today. So with that, we can probably go into our first question for Michelle. I'm going to stop sharing the results here. So the first question is from Michaela. Thank you for your question, Michaela. And the question is this program eligible for the BJO program? And is it CACCF recognized? Can I complete it within 52 weeks? Yeah.
I will be perfectly honest. I am Googling those acronyms, those initials, because I am not familiar with them. Abby, I don't know if you can help me out here. The CACCF looks like Canadian Addiction Counselors Certification Federation. And I will say for that this program is excellent as a stepping stone into additional training, and you would require specific additional training for any kind of certification or licensure to be qualified to do specific addictions counseling or any kind of counseling. Actually, as far as is it recognized? Well, typically none of these programs would go out and get endorsements from you know, specific academic institutions. So the fact that it's not recognized doesn't really mean anything. But what is recognized and what is important to know is that these have the courses that are offered through the psychology certificate have the same standing, and in fact they are the same courses. They are degree credit courses from our well-known and recognized university, Toronto Metropolitan University. So those university degree courses could be used towards requirements for another program.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, if we find more information, we can definitely share that with you. Feel free to send us an email if you think that there are more questions regarding that, Michaela. Thank you. Next question is from Karel. Thank you for your question, Karel. And the question is, can this be used to enter in a master's in psychology program? My undergraduate degree is in another discipline. However, based on professional experience and passion, I want to divert into psychology.
Yeah, certainly it can be. My advice to you is the same advice that I would give undergraduate students in psychology or other disciplines. And part of this is you would have to decide what area of psychology that you wanted to go into, whether it was applied psychology in clinical psychology or counseling psychology, and then determine what each individual school's requirements are. They're going to be generally the same at a master's level, and typically to practice, you would also anywhere in I'll say in most jurisdictions in North America, you would need a minimum of a master's degree, and in almost all, you need with a few exceptions, you'd need a PhD. So the first thing you have to do is get into a master's program. So I would say identify a few programs that you're really interested in, see what their requirements are. Typically, it would be a degree in psychology, or a degree with a certain number of courses in psychology per se. And sometimes they even name what courses those are in psychology. And I will tell you that typically those will be the same courses that are offered in the certificate, including a research course is often really strengthens your application. But yeah, again, I will repeat that these are degree level courses. These are in some cases taught by the same professors in our BA program, and they can certainly be used towards application to a master's program.
Next question is from Elisha, thank you for that question. And the question is, do we have a diploma program in mental health and addictions in TMU?
I might ask for some help with that. I mean, my initial answer is no. I know about our own Department of Psychology and CE in psychology, but if anyone else has any more clarification about what a diploma program might be, maybe there's something similar that we offer.
Awesome, thank you. I think our client services representative, Sandra, is actually typing that answer. So once she does, okay, yeah, so she's saying there that we do not have a diploma program. So there is this certificate, and then there is the psychology program, but no diploma program in mental health and addictions. Okay, so next question is, what type of assessment and treatment strategies are covered in the program for supporting clients?
Again, our courses are mostly survey courses. There are at an undergraduate level. We do have one course in clinical psychology per se, where the major modern and some historical methods of treatment are covered. This is not in any way an applied program, and I need to be very clear about that. So there will be no co-op opportunities, no internship opportunities. That is not what this certificate is about. This is a collection of courses that is assembled that will provide a good collection of courses to move on to more applied programs, if that's what people are interested in.
Then the next question, and I know we might have covered this a little bit during the presentation, but it doesn't hurt to just clarify, is what type of prior experiences are required for this certificate?
Nothing. really high school degree, and maybe client services can help me out on that as well. But these are degree credit courses. You don't need any prior experience in psychology. People come from all kinds of backgrounds, sometimes many years of work experience after high school. Sometimes they have another BA. Sometimes they even have an MA in a different discipline, and they take these courses. But if someone in client services has something to add there.
No, I think that was great. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. I know we also got a couple of questions that came in to us before the session via email. And so I can, while we wait for the next few questions that are coming in, I can share a few of the questions that came in from before the session via email. So the next question is, after completing the program, is there a way to add the certificate to our list of qualifications? Would it allow me to call myself any designations, or could I say, you know, a graduate of the mental health and addiction certificate? How can they basically add this as a qualification?
On your resume is the only formal way that you would be able to do this. This doesn't come with you know, any initials after your name or any as I say, licensure or any particular association with a counseling federation or association. So the way that you would indicate that you've taken this is the courses would be on your transcript. If you're using that to apply for graduate school, and you make sure that it was on your CV, which is an academic resume.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Next question is, thank you for the session so far. What are the differences between this and the psychology certificate?
The psychology certificate, and I would have to refresh my own memory on this, is sorry, I've got my window open here. I think it's two fewer courses, so a total of 8 courses. Do I have that right? And there are opportunities and in fact requirements to I won't bother trying to look it up. 2 courses in particular are different. You can there's a great deal of overlap between the 2 certificates in the basics of psychology, but what the psychology certificate per se is a little bit broader, and there is a required course in what we call research methods and statistics. It is the first year of or the first term of a 2-term long a combination of courses that most graduate programs in psychology will require as a minimum requirement to enter a graduate program. Sometimes programs ask for 3 courses in statistics and research methods. And the other aspect of our psychology certificate program is that there is it's a 1-term course. It's an independent studies course that allows students to work one-to-one with a professor to write a paper. That can be a research proposal, that can be a review paper in some area of mutual interest, and that professor typically has some deeper concentration of their research in that area. So they're a fantastic mentor to help you dive a little bit deeper into an area of interest particular to you.
Great.
Many of the other courses are available as electives.
Yeah, no, that's great. But I know both are real great certificates, and to our attendees, if you'd like for further information, feel free to reach out to us and we can help you get some more information on both the psychology and the mental health certificate. Now, next question is this program suitable for someone interested in peer support?
I'm not entirely certain what you mean by peer support, but again, it is not applied in nature. I think it has, many of the basic concepts involved in a lot of areas of psychology, but our focus is really that of a broad a collection of broad-based university level courses in psychology, highlighting research research methods in addictions and counseling and communication, as well as critical thinking.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Now next question is from Mark. Thank you for your question, Mark. And I know Sandra has already answered it via text. I just want to read it out for everyone else who's on the call as well. So the question is, if I've previously taken psychology classes in undergrad, is it possible to transfer those credits, especially the specifically the intro classes? And the answer is yes. However, 50% of the courses used to meet certificate graduation requirements must be completed in your CNED career. So it must be completed in the certificate, basically half of the courses. Okay, so we don't have any open questions at this time. I'll prompt my attendees here to, if you have any further questions, you can add that in. Now would be the time. But if you don't, and if you think of a question after the session is over, you can still reach out to us. It's not like, this is the only time you can ask us questions. We are happy to answer any questions that you have, and happy to walk you through whether it's an enrollment process, whether it's taking a look at different courses and deciding which certificate is best suited for you. We're here to help. And so Michelle, is there anything else that you'd like to add at the end as a couple of last words? We don't have any more open questions. We'll give it a couple of more minutes, and if there aren't any further questions, we can always give some time back to everybody. But yeah, anything else you'd like to add? And while you do that, let me check if there's some more questions that we have that came in prior to the session.
Yeah, no, I don't really have anything to add, but we are happy to answer questions, and our email addresses are available online. And if we can't find the answer to your question, we can find somebody who can answer the question.
Great.
And thank you everyone for attending.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. Maybe one last question that we can take is, can you elaborate on the writing and academic research components of the certificate?
So for the mental health and addictions, there is not a special separate course. For example, doing a thesis, we're not, this certificate is not set up for that. There is an opportunity for a one-term course in our psychology certificate, if that's what you're really interested in. I just got to check to see if Psych 411, which is our it's not one of our stats and research methods course is not one of the courses under the electives group for the mental health and addiction. So any discussion of research methods and stats will be done in the context of the courses that you take. Each course is set up as a self-contained entity, and the evaluations in each one of those courses will usually involve a blend of essays, papers and other large written assignments, not always large. Sometimes there are several smaller assignments and tests. But if the question that you're asking is there an opportunity to do a thesis or independent research, this certificate is not set up in that way.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so thank you so much once again. That was all of our questions from the ones we received during the sessions and the ones we received prior to. I guess we can give back some time to all of our attendees today. And while I do my closing remarks, I'd like to do one last poll for us. We want to get some feedback on how we did. So if you could just do this last poll about if your questions were answered entirely. And I see most of them are saying yes, but we do have some people that have selected somewhat, not entirely. If you feel like your questions were not entirely answered, like I said, feel free to put that question back in one more time. We do have some more time left. If you want us to answer it, we can. But if not, we could definitely clarify your questions. So please reach out to us and let us know, and we can help you with that. Okay. Well, with that, I guess I'll do my closing remarks. I want to give a big thank you to our speaker/presenter, Michelle. Another thank you to Randall, Sandra, and Abby for making us carry on and answering the questions in the chat as well. And also to every one of you that have taken the time out of your day to attend today's info session. Now, if you're interested in learning more or enrolling in courses related to the Mental Health and Addiction Certificate, please visit continuing.torontomu.ca. And if you have any other questions, you can contact me directly at mash.chaudhry@torontomu.ca. You will receive a follow-up email with this presentation, a recording of the session, and the survey within 24 to 48 hours. And so on behalf of the Chang School, our presenters and guest speakers, thank you for joining us today and have a great rest of the day.